한국과 친숙한 나라 말레이시아는 많은 한국인들이 골프, 휴양을 위하여 찾고 있습니다. 다양한 인종, 다양한 종교의 사람들이 평화롭게 공존하고 있는 말레이시아에서도 그 나라 여성들은 사회, 정치, 경제의 진출을 위하여 열심히 노력하고 있습니다. 오늘은 주한 말레이시아 대사 다토 로하나 람리를 만나보고 그들의 얘기를 듣습니다. You've been here like 3 years now? Is this
By October will be 3 years because I came on October 16. I arrived and landed my foot in Seoul October 16, and I presented my credential in December 18, on December 18, 2013. 2013.
Curiosity, how many female ambassadors are in Malaysia?
I knew this question will come up, so I just did the calculation just now.
Good for you.
Now there is about 13 and 13 women ambassadors and ambassador rank. I would say 3 out of 13, 10 is actually heading the mission outside, meaning they are the ambassadors at the embassy or high commission.
They are now.
They are now serving. Yes.
And the women among their, how many ministers or deputy ministers?
That I didn't count.
Okay. But you have a sizable number. Can you just give me an example?
Not sizable number. It's not more than what do you call it? Not more than 50%. It's not more than. I think it would be 1/4. 1/4 of the total.
Because I can tell you immediately how many women are in our cabinet. One.
Because you're too few.
You're too few.
You're too few.
But I mean, tell me about women in overall. Women's role in politics, women's role in government. What do you see? What do you think it is?
Women's role in politics. Well, they are there. They push for women issues.
That's actually a good first
yes.
step.
The government's role on women issues, we should start there. Okay. So we have national policy on women. And then we set the target for the 30%. And then now, the issue now, what is the problem with the woman issue in Malaysia? You see, almost half of Malaysian population is women. So we recognize that women in our economic development is very important. So we want them to participate in the economic development. So female participation rate in the economic development, that is a problem because women, and I'm sure this applies to many countries, once they get married, I mean after education, after college, they will have a career. But once they get married, then that is where they will have to make a decision. There's a career break. Sometimes career break goes into permanent, but there are women who wants to make a comeback. Okay, so how do you actually make sure that they come back quite smoothly? Of course, some have to be retrained, and some have to have the understanding of the employers. So there are programs undertaken by the ministry, like comeback career program, to actually help these women to return to their to be employed again. And there are grants given to employers, to encourage them to have a comeback career fairs, to have the networking, to retrain the woman.
So You talked about family getting married. Is that the number one difficulty for women participating in the workforce?
I would say it's the most difficult thing that being married and you have difficult to balance your family. It's a decision of the individual. You see, some prefers to just take a break and come back. Some, be on account that it's difficult for them to handle the family issues, they don't come back. But we are trying to encourage that they come back, because it's such a waste that, such a waste of skills and expertise.
What is the role, what is the social view of what women's role in the family, in the society are, and are they changing, or is it proving difficult for women to come back? I mean,
I don't think so. It's difficult because I can see that many of my married friends, they don't take a career break. I mean, they come back, after they get married, after they have childbirth. But as I said, it's individual. I would say individual. Their own decision. Sometimes, their family, their husband, the burden, their own burden, they think that they cannot shoulder the burden. But it's not society. I don't think it's a society in our case, in Malaysia's case. Because meaning to say that, you are a woman, you're supposed to be at home, you're supposed to be a mother, you should not, venture into a career, having a career. It's not that. It's not the society doesn't hold rigidly on that views. Individuals may, but not the society.
See, even that is very important, because I think, I read, I've been to Malaysia. There's a multicultural sort of acceptance of differences.
You mean to say that gender stereotype is associated,
is
right?
that also sort of more acceptable,
you see,
different kinds of
that you would have to understand the social complexity of Malaysian society. It highly depends which ethnic you come from, because Malays are mostly Muslim. Okay, Chinese is mostly Buddhist. Indians are mostly Hindus, and then in addition to all this, we have other ethnic, small ethnic, and in Sabah and Sarawak there are more than 30, more than 50 ethnic groups. So sometimes the social understanding of what women should be will fall through, some of their link to religion.
Fall through?
Let's say if you're a Muslim lady, there's certain things that are attached. What a Muslim lady should be all about. How should they lead their family and all that. If you are a Christian, it's a different way. If you are
Buddhist,
yes, but certain things will go beyond race and beyond religion. Specifics is very difficult to give you an example. But a Muslim woman generally is expected to be there, for the family. Conservative views and modern views.
Even within religion.
Because you would just, for me, what I would say is that, in comparison with the Korean society, it would be just one group, just one. Let's say it's a ball, just one ball. But for Malaysia, we have 3 main balls.
Yes. Different colors.
Different colors.
I actually like that kind of thing.
But of course, for us to interact, we have to have very high tolerance, and that's what all Malaysian has: very high tolerance in appreciating other ethnic, what do you call it, culture. So they maintain their name, they maintain their culture, they maintain their language, and yet they are living as Malaysian, and it's very difficult, or a bit difficult, I would say, a bit difficult to recognize a Malaysian unless they speak. You see, for us, we have our consular job. If a Malaysian is detained at detention center at the airport, they will call us to identify whether it's really a Malaysian, because maybe they look like Chinese, or they look like Indians.
There's no one
yes,
face
there's no one face of a
Malaysian.
Malaysian. Even I don't look like a Malay, even though I'm a Malay. The test is, my colleagues will go to the detention center, and the test is whether they can speak Bahasa Malaysia or not. If they speak Bahasa Malaysia, there are certain words and certain style, then we know that they are Malaysians.
Wow.
Otherwise, they don't pass off as a Malaysian.
Interesting.
Interesting and complex.
Complex. But, out of complexity comes harmony,
Yes, this is what, many tourists, when they end up in Malaysia, that they find it very, very amazing.
Yes.
That we have been like that for 58 years.
It is amazing.
It's amazing.
Any other points you'd like to make? I mean, maybe would you like to tell us about what you have seen in terms of Korean females and women while you've been here for almost 3 years?
I just want to say what I have observed, that your society is very hierarchical, and I think that is because of the Confucianism that influenced the society, and the male dominance element is still in the society. But overall, I would say that the Korean women are very, very well educated and very, very skilled in and have the expertise in so many fields. There are many those who are holding PhD and for one, Korean women should be happy. There are 6 women universities in Korea. We don't have one.
Yes.
But, it helps. Isn't it? It does, right.
I think it does. Everyone says it's a matter of time.
It's a matter of time, I would think.
But we are a little impatient. We've been hearing that for a little too long.
Woman achievement in high position. We have had the Minister of Trade at one time, for more than 20 years, She holds that ministry for more than 20 years. Rafida Aziz, quite well known in those days. Our governor, until very recently, was a woman for how many years? Those are, the women leaders in our society.
We've talked to a lot of female ambassadors, and almost all countries have these very female leaders that really are showing, what kind of leadership needs to be done. And it's not because they're doing it as women. It's just because they're doing such a good job of it, and they're women. So it just shows that how.
I think if you ask me, what I should say to the young Korean women, I would say that sometimes you need to forget about your gender, because when you are young, you have aspiration, dreams, and all that. If you forget about your gender, then you can dream beyond. You don't start asking yourself, should I want to become this? Would it be good for a woman? If you forget, if you're gender blind, you will go, you go beyond. There is nothing to limit you. So Korean women should do that. Not going for dreams that, not limited to women alone. They should go beyond. And once they are blind gender, I think they can do more.
Yes, it's a big Big challenge.
Big challenge.
Because society usually doesn't let you forget that you are a woman.
True.
It's very difficult.
But you can try.
Yes, you can try.
You can
Try
try.
your best.
Just try the best.
My final question.
Yes.
I've asked this to all my ambassadors
Mm-hmm.
because you represent your country, and in many ways, I think you are actually the leaders. You are leaders of your individual country in Korea. So we thought, okay, let's say if we said that you were not just leader of Malaysia, but you were like the president of the world for a while, and you said you can change you can change anything, one thing. What would you change?
That's not an easy
Notice
poverty, I would think so, because there's a lot of studies that are being done that, poverty is feminization of poverty. If you're a male, in certain countries, it's much easier to get out of poverty than if you're a female, So I would think I would want to change that to make sure that, women would not be tied so much with poverty, to get them out from poverty. That would be my main project if I'm the president. Because you got to think that, all the countries in the world are not equal in terms of economic development. And certain countries, they have problems even, within the country itself, in terms of rural and urban, What goes for women who live in the urban area may not be what the woman in the rural areas experience, So when we say that, countries in the world, they're not all advanced countries. There's so many countries where still their level of economic development is still not there yet. And, the women in those countries also have not experienced certain level of what I would say, rich, still having benefits of modernization of their society.
They're always most vulnerable to the
Vulnerable, and men in general, for certain society, the gender stereotyping is at reduced percentage, but in some countries it's very high percentage, and in those countries women suffers. Woman becomes a target for almost everything. So these are the things that I would think, if you give me the position as the president of the world, I would take up that challenge.
I will try my very best.
I will try my very best.
Thank you very much.
Welcome.
Yeah, I think